So there's our agenda up on the screen, but it's going to go away in a quick minute. Those in the room have agendas on the outside table that you can pick up as you're coming in. Next slide, please. As I like to say, you know, it's all about networking, and together we can soar. And we are soaring this year. We've had so many accomplishments. I can't wait until the conference when we can list those all out. So a little of this and a little of that. The first, the Area Director Club Visit Challenge. The challenge was visit and report on 100% of your clubs by February the 28th, and you will receive a $25 TI store gift certificate. Well, did anyone do that? Next slide, please. Narendra Patel, Area 35, Area Director. Congratulations, Narendra. I'll have that gift certificate in the mail to you tomorrow. And I will also like to say that there were a number of folks that were just one club away, and you have your opportunity, because if you have 100% of your clubs visited by, what did I say? I said either the end of March or April. You would think I would know what my own incentive is, wouldn't you? But it's $10, you know, and $10 is $10. So I'll be saying more about that in the weekly digest so that you know what the due date really is. And I am just so pleased because there are a lot of club visits happening already. Next slide, please. The District 3 Division Area 3 contest is right around the corner, and we need you. When is it? It's this Wednesday, March the 12th, from 6 to 8:30 Pacific time. Anyone who is being a functionary needs to get there at 5:30, and where is there? We have reserved East Bay Mud building room. I've got 2 stories on that. Hopefully the first story will hold, and we will have that room. We are looking for everything, all right? We need judges, test speaker, ballot counters, sergeant-at-arms. If it's needed for a contest, we need it. So I've been getting responses. I haven't made any actual assignments yet. Chief Judge, you know, if it's a contest functionary, we need your help. This is right around the we've got the contestants, all right? We've got the contestants, and we will make it happen for them one way or the other. The other day I was at a contest, we were locked out. I said, you know what? If we can't get into the building, we'll gather our cars around and we'll do it right here in the parking lot. You know, always a plan B. But no, we will not be doing our contest on the streets of Oakland, so you don't need to worry about that. In any case, please get back to me. I've sent emails out to everybody, not everybody yet, but to everybody in Division D, to all of the district officers and functionaries. So yeah, give me a shout out so we can make this happen. Next slide, please. What else? Toastmasters International is working diligently on the district realignment. We do not have specific information yet, but I am told that things are moving along, and the final recommendation will be into Toastmasters International on time, whatever that recommendation happens to be. The official announcement won't be until August, but I'm hoping that because we're impacted that we will hear about it and we'll be able to share way before then. This coming year, which is the 2025-2026 year, is going to be, quote unquote, a normal year for District 57. So District 57 will exist. We'll do all our regular stuff. In addition to that, there will be meetings going on between us and whoever we're joining with so that we have a smooth transition for the following year. But we are looking for, well, maybe we aren't, I don't know. I know that we've been recruiting division directors. We're looking for area directors. That situation for this year, coming year, which is 25-26, is just as it's been in the past. And we still need all those same people to do all those same things that we've been doing every year for a very long time. Almost 70 years. District 57's been around for almost 70 years. Pretty amazing. The local D57 realignment is underway. I'm going to be calling a meeting of our division directors, hopefully, if not, probably next week. So not this week, but next week, so that we can take a look at the preliminary proposal by our realignment chair and, you know, talk it through and see what it looks like. The district conference, Linda's going to be getting into that, so I'm not going to share a lot, but the district conference is coming up May 17th, and we're very excited about all of the plans that are being worked on and are about to be rolled out so folks can see them, and that will be highlighted later in this meeting. Next slide, please. That's it for me. We are doing it together. We are networking. We are working together to make our commitments to the district members happen. And now, without further ado, I will turn the mic over to our program quality director, Linda Patten.
Thank you, Sally, so very much. And we're in revitalization, rebuilding, and reinventing ourselves. And next slide, please. So this is March and April. April looks very, very slight, but there's so much going on in the background. We have the rest of our area contests, the rest of the division contests happening the end of March and the beginning of April. So please stay tuned, be there, be square. All right, next. Semi-final results on officer training. I'm really, really, really happy. We have 113 active clubs. We're over the 100 mark. That was a very clear goal for us to get there. We had 70 clubs that did 4 of 7 or better. That's 62%, better than half. 31 clubs achieved 7 of 8 at 28%, and 407 out of our possible 791 officers were trained. That's over 51%. So we did well. We can do better, and we will in August, but we did well. The deadline to verify winter training, please, is March 22nd. We have to have them all in by the end of March, or the whole report goes away, and I can do nothing with it. So please, if you see somebody's missing or somebody trained in another district, please let me know sooner rather than later, and we'll get them all updated. Thank you so very much, and thank you, Jeffrey, for stepping in as well to help out with this process. Next. Ta-da! The 2025 annual conference, a new beginning. Save the date. Put it on your calendar, May 17th, 2025, and it's my 50th wedding anniversary. And I'm going to spend it with you. Next, please. Okay, now is the time, really. We're in the planning phase. We need you as members and leaders of this community. Consider being a workshop presenter, an advertiser, a raffle prize person, a silent auction donor, or if you're an author, bring your books to the author corner at the conference and sign them for our fabulous Toastmasters. We've gotten some really great workshop presenters beginning to line up. And yes, Leesa, the contests will be held at the conference. Evaluation in the morning, international speech in the afternoon, or early evening. Clubs, if you'd like to provide us with a raffle prize, we could actually have a contest on that to see who brings in the best raffle prize possible and how many clubs can give us raffle prizes. We are also looking for bigger items for a silent auction. So let us know what's going on as soon as the committee is more solid. I'll be sending out names for you to be sending these pieces of information to. Do you have a 45-minute presentation on Toastmasters leadership, better communications? Send me a 20-word proposal. Many of you have. We've got a good list. We're filling up our slots. So if you've got something that you really, really, really want to present, get it to me, get it to Ashley. Sankar will tell you later. Get ready to register for conference. The registration will be going up in the next couple of weeks. Sally, can I tell them where we're going?
Pardon me?
Can I tell them where we're going?
I think we're close enough. You can tell them, yeah. Go for
Okay,
it.
we're going to the California Maritime Academy in Vallejo. We've been there before. It's a fantastic place. We've got a huge auditorium. We've got 5 breakout rooms and just some fantastic box lunches. And I think it's going to be an absolutely spectacular conference. We've got our own parking, so we are good to go. Next slide, please. More conference opportunities. Again, we're talking about the raffle and the silent auction, advertising and awards chairs. I'm looking for those. I'm looking for registration and hospitality chairs and so much more. Our first meeting, well, not so much our first meeting, but our first meeting as a team is on March 10th at 5 p.m. Pacific. Look for an invitation to join us. You should be getting that in your MailChimp early next week. Actually, today, I hope, or tomorrow. We sent it out. Okay, next. All the conference chairs post, we need team members. So all of those chair positions. The contest team is being headed by Michelle Peticolas, Ananda Sen, and we've heard that Hans is going to be our chief judge. Yay. And they are also looking for members to join their conference team to do the various roles in a contest. You all know what they are. You know what we need, and we need volunteers to make that happen. Please do contact me to get the link for our committee meetings so that you can be an integral part of this epic conference. It is a time to really be creative. And I thank you so very much. Jeff, you can go next.
One second. All right, hi everyone. I'm Jeff Young, as everyone knows at this point, Club Growth Director, and I usually say no news is good news. But in Toastmasters, if things are too quiet, then nobody's talking, and in Toastmasters, that's bad. Next slide, please. It's prime time, ladies and gentlemen, and on our Toastmasters, I get to say that because 103 is a prime number. It's also the number of clubs that are clubs in good standing at this point in time. We started this journey back in mid-October with 93 out of 113 clubs. We've added 1 new club and saved 9 so far. We've closed down 5 clubs. 2 more are this close to their minimum, and 3 are long shots. We've got 3 weeks left to get there from here, and I hope we can save them. Last month we were at 100. Slow and steady may yet win the race. If you'd like to help save a struggling club and want to meet more Toastmasters, drop me a line and I'll hook you up. I say this a lot, but it's still worth saying. It takes 1 person to save a club at 7, which is better than losing 7 Toastmasters because they couldn't find an 8th person in time. Next slide, please. Instead of the elephant in the room, I'd like to address the mouse in the room. We talked about how clubs can run open houses and how folks will magically appear and join the club. But I've been to clubs where they run an open house, and it's a struggle to get 3 people to show up, and one of them is the outside speaker. This is not unusual, and you are not alone. We put out the open house kit, and some of you are using it. We still need to revise it to get some black and white slides in there, I know, and I have a request to make it a little simpler, but that's not the point here. When you have 20 club members, guests go, wow, that's a big club. When you have an open house in the works, that's 20 people who can invite 1 or 2 people, and let's say with a 25% acceptance rate, that's 10 guests tops. And maybe 33 of them accept, so 3 people join. This is the bare minimum for distinguished club status, assuming you lose nobody. Now take a club that's at 14 members and do the same math. 7 people show up, might be like 5, and that might net you 2. And now we get to the rough parts, the risk factor, the 8 ball. If everyone in the club invites 2 people and 25% of them show up, that's 4. 33% of 4 is 1. And those of us in clubs that are kind of small and fighting for their lives know that even 1 is a reach, because when you're at 8, not everyone gets the message to invite 2 people. Worse, if they invite people who are already Toastmasters, you can just show up at your club for free, or family members who are showing up to support you. Hopefully the pizza was good at least. Next slide. You know how you're told never talk to strangers? Well, every potential Toastmaster is a stranger at first. and you are strangers to them. This is supposed to be our primary source of new members, and yet we cross our fingers and hope strangers stumble across us like we're a diamond in the rough. Guess what? You are. Or at least you should be. Stay the slide. Go back one slide, sorry. You should be that club that people talk about when they come in and we're impressed and say, take my money. But hey, everybody get ready to click that reaction button, okay? I'm watching this. Click the thumbs up if someone in the last 6 months, a guest showed up at your club and you were disorganized as heck when it happened. You didn't have a speaker and were just doing table topics. To wit, you didn't have your best foot forward. So thumbs up for that if you would. Don't worry, I'm not actually really watching. I kind of am. Okay, so maybe, okay, no one is like put a thumbs up, that's fine. Next, click the rocket button. If your area director showed up and you actually had all hands on deck and ran a smooth meeting. So I have to ask, what went wrong? Any brave souls that want to share a disaster story in the chat while we're talking? Okay, I've got a few people. I know they happened in one club at least. And while we're doing that, let me move on to the other source of club members, the surly stragglers. Apparently a bike, by the way. You have ridden off, and you have possibly ridden off. Someone leaves and they give you a good reason. I have a new job. I have a kid on the way. I moved to another state. And we go, oh, okay, thanks, good to know you. And we lose a member. So we're trying to be nice and respectful. What about the folks that just ghost the club? Have you sent a search party? Did you check on them? Why are you treating them like you're the problem and apologizing to the club doesn't meet their needs anymore? You should never apologize for your club unless you blew it big time. And if you did so, then fix the problem instead of apologizing for it. You should never stop recruiting. If I learned one thing from being club growth director this year, it's that the phone doesn't dial itself. If you give up recruiting, you give up on growing. If you can't find it in yourself to call strangers, try calling back old friends. At my own club, we had someone come back who had been gone for 2 years. He lost her job. And someone who had completely forgotten and started showing up again because he stumbled on us when we had a hybrid meeting. I was embarrassed to say I didn't remember him until he mentioned the last time he was there was at a meeting in 2014, 11 years ago. This week, I'm going to reach out to one of our best Toastmasters who left because they had a kid, before the pandemic even. He's not old enough to join Toastmasters, but I want to see if they can get the member back. Is your club of motto, once a member, always a member? Mine does. Maybe yours should too. Okay, now next slide. When foreign members come back, either to the club they left or a brand new club, I home in on them. You know, when they say, I joined one club and I kind of stopped for a bit. Because Toastmasters isn't always about success stories. The best thing to hear when someone wanders back in after being away is, oh hey, this club is better than the last one I was in. And you only find out how to make things better for them by asking them what went wrong when they left the first time, or their last club. If you want to re-engage a prospective renewing member, then you meet the challenge of what they're looking for. If a club has existed for long enough, it kind of evolves over time. Some of this is the members and interactions, some people leave, the new ones kind of step up to the leadership. Some of this is just plain old drift. Sometimes it's a really loud personality taking over. We never know what we're going to get. But if you make a concerted effort to be something special and communicate that in a way that the whole club agrees with, why not reinvent yourself to attract new people? That brings me to my next slide. Do you have a lot of gamers in your club? Adopt the board gamers idea. Do you have people who vanish on a regular basis to go on a trip somewhere? Do an exchange with travel masters? And if you really, really like being online for DECM like this, which is most of you today, and want to get better at being virtual, I'm with you in spirit, but I need someone to help close that caption and captain that effort. Because I only could pick one idea for myself, and I'm going with improv. Hopefully in April, no fooling, but for now, these other ones got enough votes in the weekly survey that we should try meeting. Bear in mind that the plan is still to start a club out of this, hopefully before June 30, but if not, we can always pass it along to the next club growth director. The surveys, by the way, are still running, just like Zoomies. I only had 2 responses for the past week and a half, but I know there's more of you out there. It's right at the bottom there, tinyurl.com, specialty week 4. And that is my presentation for today. So where is Winnie?
No, it's Leesa Thompson,
Sorry.
Public Relations Manager. Welcome, Leesa.
Um,
Oh, what happened to the slides? They changed
slides.
order.
I see what's happened. Okay, so we need to find the slides there. Slide 30 is,
It's me first. Me go first.
okay,
Okay.
yeah, let Winnie go. Okay.
Yep. I think not Lisa. I think it's should be
Yeah,
Winnie
you
go.
can go, Winnie. That's fine.
Okay.
Lisa
Mercy, can you find
yeah,
her?
let's
Oh,
go
there
back.
she is.
There
Okay.
we go. Thank you.
Okay. I think we need to. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Please help me to welcome our audit chair, William Wilson. He will provide the mid-year audit result for all of us. Thank you. William.
Thank you, Winnie.
Yeah.
Thank you, Winnie. Good morning, everyone. It's great to be with you today. The Audit Committee completed the mid-year audit on February 13th. The audit went well, although there were a few policy exceptions, which do happen occasionally. All exceptions have been presented to Sally and Winnie. Key takeaways from this audit are any individual expenses that exceed $500 should be authorized in advance by the district director and program quality director or club growth director. There should be an approval, including in the supporting documentation. An email approval of the expense is acceptable. Number two, all transactions, whether revenue or expense, should be adequately supported by underlying details. These two takeaways should be considered for transactions going forward. I wish to thank Sally, Winnie, and Ed for their assistance during this review. Special thanks go out to Tiffany Jones and Kat King for their work as audit committee members. Are there any questions? That is my report for today. I yield back the rest of my time. Madam Finance Director.
Thank you so much, William. Now we move to another slide. Today, I would like to mention about the area and division contest expense reimbursement. A lot of area director has questions related to the expense reimbursement. First, the limit for area contest, expense reimbursement would be limited to $50 only. And if you have a combined contest, for example, it's a A1 and A2 combined contest, so you would have the expense, reimbursement for $100. That would be the maximum. And the copy of the receipt must be submitted within 60 days according to the policy. And based on the budget, if you rent a place, you can call it to 7014. But if you purchase food and supplies, you can call it to food and supplies, even though there may be some differences from the budget. But it may be fine, for as long as we document the information. The reimbursement cannot be transferable. And I remember one of the area director asked me, can we transfer the balance, to another contest? No. You must have receipts to support for that same or specific area contest only. No makeup, no transferable on any balance left. And the receipt must be equal or less to the limit of reimbursement and only up to the amount of $50 or the number of contests. Okay, next slide, please. And the area director they are not the club treasurer, and they only have one-time reimbursement. I highly recommend that they do not apply for the Concur new user account, because that would take a long time to do that, at least 60 days, 30 days to 60 days at least. And that would pass the date of purchase. If you want the amount of money to be reimbursed as soon as possible, email the copy of receipts, to the club treasurer, and then ask the club treasurer to submit the expense report in Concur. You must label that for the area contest reimbursement, and also put down your name in the comment section, and also the reason why for the reimbursement. This would avoid all the lengthy process, and you will get your reimbursement within 2 weeks. Next slide, please. Oh, there's a duplication. I think this, okay, district box reimbursement. Now I would like to mention about this district box reimbursement. The deadline is May 31st, 2025. Submit your expenses, to for reimbursement within 60 days, and no later than May 31st. And if you have any question, contact me at Winnie Ma, WFMA 76380@gmail.com. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a point of clarification, Winnie. The allotment for area contests is $50. The allotment for division contest is $150.
For each contest,
Yes, for each division.
for each division is $150. Okay.
Yeah, I just checked the budget on that.
Because that I didn't know that the budget had been changed. Okay.
It wasn't changed. That's what it was.
Yeah. Division's
Okay,
always
that
100.
have not been reflected for per discussion at that time. Okay, at the point of time. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so the division director would be $150 that for the reimbursement for division contest. Right? So no more than $150. Okay, any other questions?
Just as a comment.
I
so-
hope that nobody want to change my slides, okay, at the beginning, okay? So that is really creating some problem for my slides. Anyway, okay, that's it. Thank you.
Ananda here.
That's another question.
Yeah, Ananda here. I'm one of the co-chairs.
I cannot see you. Let me see if I can change the okay. Okay. Question?
Yeah, you just mentioned the budget for the area contest and the other contest, but is there any itemization? How much money you can spend on the food? How much on travel? How much on gas? How much on stationery? Is there any limits to that, or you can spend $50 on food only, or something like that?
Okay, basically $50 is related to the contest, supply for the contest. Perhaps you need to purchase the food for all the attendee, and also you may rent a place, for the area contest and pay for the rental expenses. Okay, and you are not paying for the travel or something, for anyone. Okay, no travel expenses included on the area contest reimbursement. For example, some people may try to claim the mileage or something like that. I have never seen that, because all the expenses are related to the contest itself. Okay, not individual reimbursement.
What about gift for the speaker? Something, some gift.
Okay, the gifts, usually you can purchase the gifts, for the volunteers only, okay? And it's limited to $25. But if you have only $50 budget, you don't want to give $25 to the test speaker. you may want to purchase a small amount of the gifts like $2 or $3 or $5 only. Okay, that's up to that. And then you have about 15 volunteers. So how are you going to spread the amount? If you give all of them, like $2 appreciation gift and a gift card, I don't think, there will be any gift card, you can use, because based on the policy, you cannot purchase any gift card. Just recently, I heard someone you purchased a gift card for a test speaker for $25 from the club, but that is not allowable. Okay, you can purchase like the Toastmaster International gift card for $25. If you want to do it for your club, from your club, it's fine. But if for the contest, and I highly recommend that within $5, you can purchase a TI gift certificate for $5 for the target speaker. Or you can purchase something small gifts, for all the volunteers. For myself, I bake all the muffin for the volunteer, and then each one of them would have like 4 muffins in a box, so, and then also I have the thank you card for each one of them. So give a small appreciation within your budget for $50. Any other questions?
We have one question in the chat the question is, are the area contest medals in yet? And I think the answer is yes. And
They arrived yesterday. Oh, excuse me. They arrived yesterday.
Okay,
for
so
8:35,
Sally is handling that for everyone related to the medals. Okay, contact Sally for all the medals. Any other questions? If you have any other questions, send me an email and I will help you on that. Thank you.
So maybe I can have additional information. We are professionals, so if the contest budget really tight, whatever the small amount you can donate it for, or do anything, whatever you can, you just support for the contest is fine. So for us, money is not concern, right? But the thing is teamwork and work efforts. That's what we are appreciation for. That's all.
Yes, I think in the past, even before the pandemic, everybody contribute, something to the contest, and then almost like we purchase very minimum amount of the food. But after contest, not too many of the participants they bring something. But for the health concern, when somebody contributes something, they have to be aware of. Ensure that, like everything have to be boxed or wrapped or put it in a plastic bag or whatsoever. Make sure that, that no germs or anything spread, after during the contest. That is our concern.
Okay, we have another question from Maureen.
We do. And
Okay, Marlene?
hello, Winnie. My question or my comment is that I feel the $50 is too small a budget. And I know we were
I
getting
totally agree.
But-
I totally agree.
the venues, you can't cover the venues for 50 for most of the venues. Not all of them are free.
And I didn't realize that the division contest was $150. That is way more, 3 times more. And then that, I'm sorry.
Well, I'm actually, all of my area contests and my division contests are all in the same venue. And I made an arrangement with the person who controls that venue to pay him a reasonable amount of money based on the 5. So we're working out something so we'll stay within budget. But it's because the person who controls that venue is a friend and he's a Toastmaster. So it worked out really well. But I'm really feeling that very few things are free. And even a lot of the buildings that I check, libraries and such, they were $100 an hour. That doesn't help at all. So I think we need to rethink the budget for next year. That's just a comment. And then Leesa, to your comment, it sounds like the medals are finally in and I'm so excited. I will get them and I'll arrange to get them to everybody. I promise. I will do that.
Yeah. I mean, I pay the thank you card myself, and I bake and I cook. You can imagine how many muffins that I make and how many pot stickers I make, you know. I
I,
mean, those 2 days, okay?
I
So
know.
everybody, you know, just contributing, you know, something and make it nice, you know, contest. Anyway,
Exactly. It'll still
just
be
want to make it successful, like Aaron mentioned, teamwork, make it to be a successful. And some of the budget information, we can take this as a lesson learned, and then we can be able to improve and change the budget, you know, see and do the evaluation next year. Thank you.
Yeah. In the meantime, so I also contribute a little bit also as well by a small portion of food, but it not much anything. Look like you go for lunch, and that's the amount of the lunch to be support. But that's all. But thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. The tangerine and apples sound good. Thank you. Okay, back to you. Back to you, Jeffrey. I don't want to delay the
Chocolate too.
Okay, thank you so much for your presentation. Next up is Leesa Thompson, our Public Relations Manager. It's all for you, Leesa.
Great. Good morning, everyone. So I just want to remind you, I am Leesa Thompson, and I am at prm@d57tm.org. By the time you get to me, it seems like many of you have been so frustrated, and I'm trying to today change some of your frustration. We've tried throughout the past 8 months to do the best we could with public relations. We have a huge team, and right now, next slide, we are in the middle of Talk Up Toastmasters. So there are people that are posting for us on Facebook and on YouTube and on the newsletter. And it's really important that they get all of your information. This year, we're doing something very special. We're including clubs in the district website. Gerlando has revamped the website, and Ananda has been great with putting things up on Facebook, and Hans is wonderful with getting everything up on YouTube, and Lee is great with the dispatch. But if he doesn't hear from your clubs, it makes their job very, very difficult. So it's important that they get input from clubs, from areas, from divisions. And as we wrap up this year, it's even more important that we hear from the successes of all of what's been going on in the district. We can't share those successes if we don't hear from you. So please, in Talk Up Toastmasters month, get that information in so that we can, in fact, make your clubs and areas and divisions shine. It's really important in order to accomplish the goals that the entire Trio Plus has. Without each of you doing your part in sharing those details, it makes it tough to attract new members. Next. So who's who? We've got 16 of us. And I've tried to encourage all of my team members to come to DECM and to talk to you throughout the past number of months. Let's see very quickly if we can go through who's who. If you unmute or you put it in the chat, what does Hans do? He does everything if I'm not here, and he does our YouTube channel. Shri is for Meetup. Eric does our calendar. Gerlando has revamped the website. Katie is in charge of getting flyers done. Kat's in charge of Zoom links. Derek does digest. Eva is on Katie's team. Lee has done the dispatch. Karen's here to talk to us today, as is Hans. Karen is responsible for club event submissions. Wing is our consult. Ananda does Facebook. DeMarie has done the podcast. Allison's on Katie's team with flyers. Emily's on Shree's team with Meetup. And I'm trying to encourage all of you to work with all of us so that we can let District 57 be heard through the district and beyond. Next. So if you have any questions, instead of just sitting there scratching your head and saying, who do I go to? If you don't know who to go to, come to me and I will help to direct you to someone who is there eagerly, patiently, confidently waiting to work with all of you on your PR needs. Next. I'd now like to turn the mic over to Hans to show us short form videos.
Last month, I talked about the challenge in attracting guests to your club and how video could help you do that. A couple of clubs have submitted videos, and I'd like to share one. Here is my screen, and I will share this right now.
Hey there. Do you want to speak with confidence, connect with your audience, and make a real impact with your words? Then you need to check out Heart to Heart Toastmasters. We're a unique Toastmasters club designed for entrepreneurs, thought leaders, and anyone who wants to make a real impact and deliver heartfelt, authentic messages. And guess what? We take it a step further. You can even practice a free or paid offer from the stage and get valuable feedback. Whether you're new to Toastmasters or a seasoned speaker, you're always welcome as our guest. We meet twice a month. Our hybrid meeting is the first Saturday of every month from 3:30 p.m. to 6 Pacific time. We also meet every fourth Thursday online with Zoom from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. So if you're ready to sharpen your speaking skills, grow your business, and connect with a like-minded community, come visit us. Heart to Heart Toastmasters is where your message meets impact.
All right. So hopefully that gave you a taste. Let me emphasize 4 good qualities that that video presents. Number 1, it's a human face. It allows the public to have someone to relate to. Number 2, it emphasizes how the club is unique and what makes Heart to Heart Toastmasters special. Number 3, it tells you when and where the club meets. And finally, it provides a contact link or email for people to follow up with. You noticed in the video, there were some photographs in the background. That is totally optional. It's an advanced technique that requires software like Canva or Camtasia, but that's totally optional. Your video could be as simple as you taking a selfie at home or in your meeting room. What a great way to put something on your website or on your Facebook page that will show a human face and encourage people to reach out and connect to you. Back to you, Leesa.
So thank you so much for sharing that. Instead of feeling intimidated, please feel inspired and share with us your video. We have until the end of this month, instead of the end of February, which is what we started because we really believed all of you would get these videos in. We've extended it until the end of March. Please do your club and yourselves a favor. There is a $25 incentive on Incentive Tracker, and please get us the videos. If you need help, Hans is accessible, and if not, remember, I always am. Please, let's turn the mic over to Karen, who will talk to us now about club event submissions. Thank you. Here's Karen.
Good morning, everyone. Gerlando Tomini is a great webmaster, and he's done a lot of creative things as Leesa has described. Next slide, please. So he's given us the capability added to the work that Eric Bruch is doing as calendar master to add club events, which we haven't been doing before. because we didn't want to clutter up the calendar. Everybody needs to advertise their club events, as Jeffrey and Hans have talked about this morning. This gives you one more avenue to showcase something special about your club, a special event, not a regular meeting, but a special event. Next, please. There are a couple of different ways to advertise in addition to what's been talked about this morning. Shri Gujreddy and her team have done a great job publicizing the Meetup platform to be able to set up a group for your club and get it out, get the information out about routine meetings and special events to both Toastmasters who sign up and other people in your neighborhood, in the neighborhood of your club. One way to get the word out about the kinds of things that we need. And I've put the blue clubs meetup group is the link to where the meetup is, and the link under Get Your Club Set Up is where the page on the D57 website. If your club isn't signed up yet, it gives you detailed instructions. Next, please. And then the other is the fairly new club events calendar. So on the D57 website, up at the top, you can see in the menu bar, there's the events option. The club events is a separate calendar from the district calendar. And then to submit information for an event, there's a request form that Gerlando has prepared, and you click on that Submit an Event. Next, please. What kinds of things would be great to share? You're having an open house. You're having a club contest. You're working on a prospective club, building up members, building up interest. So, whereas I've said we typically don't put routine club meetings on the club calendar, but when you're starting a new club, you want to attract members. So for a period of time until the club is chartered, please put those club notices on the calendar. And then if you're having fun meeting formats, we're always looking for ways to share, to learn from our fellow Toastmaster groups to make our meetings interesting. One that was advertised earlier was a backward meeting. There are 5-minute story meetings. There are a variety of meeting formats that are fun and interesting that people can learn from to share with their own clubs. Next, please. So on the event submittal form, really important up at the top, it's quiet, which is why I want to point it out. Up at the top, there's that little dark red button for more information on the frequently asked questions, FAQs. And there's a lot of good information there, including the email information for both Eric and me. There are 3 fields. You have your event title, which is the first thing that's shown on the calendar. You have an event summary that's a short form that when you hover over the event title on the calendar, it gives you a brief summary. And then there's a detailed event description. In this case, the one I'm showing, there was a flyer. So you can either email that flyer or upload it to, there's a section in the event submittal form where you can put that, and we can add it to make it all more interesting. Next, please. There's also the potential for enabling an RSVP. How do you get information out to people about where your meeting is and when? If it's a physical meeting, you can put the address in the description. You can put also in that description, you could put your club's email, your club's website. How do people find out how to get to your meeting? Even though there is an option for displaying the Zoom link, for most club meetings, we don't recommend, just because of the concerns of Zoom bombers. But you want to know, you want to be able to make the information about your meetings accessible. And so there are other ways that you can do that. Next. Next, please. So that's basically it. It's very simple. We have William noticed. Yeah, see, there was the goal achievers was the example that I used, and he's here in this meeting because it's an interesting advertisement in this simple calendar form. So it's club calendar is just one way for you to be able to advertise what the fun things that are happening in your club. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. I just want to see, on one of your slides, you had d57.org instead of d57tm.org. So please, it is calendar at d57tm.org.
Yes.
The same with club calendar 57 at d57tm.org. So it's
Thank you.
important, otherwise you go to some school district. So yeah.
Thank you. I apologize.
Anyway, I want to have a discussion with y'all, and I'm prepared to be disagreed with, but to have a discussion, I kind of would like to see your faces, and rather than talk at you, I don't care if you're looking down at something, if you look horrible today. George Marshall looks beautiful every day. And talk about things we can do, because this is part of what I think is kind of the Toastmaster conundrum, where we are a public speaking and leadership organization that does things with our picture off on mute. And one of the things that I do, it's kind of weird coming in and talking to you guys, because I kind of feel like when I come in here, it's like the court jester is speaking to the king and queens of the district here. And one of the things that I do is I have a program that I call the Lean In Factor, which is about creating quick connections and getting people to have that familiarity of friendship and up your likability. So I'm going to talk a little about that today. But what I want to know from you right off the bat, and put it in the chat, what did you join Toastmasters for? Just a quick, you don't make it long and no jargon, just, I was scared to death. I wanted to speak professionally. I just wanted to meet people. Whatever it is, be honest. Socialize, to be amazing. All right. Uncomfortable talking to people. Very good. Scared. All right. Coworkers, share your story for advocacy. Use my speaking skills for new usiness, new business. Eliminate fear, speak confidently. Learn from all the professional perspective. Okay, good. These are great. These are great. Not one of them says you started from the room. Not one of them says you wanted to be a district leader. You wanted to win a distinguished club. You wanted to do these things. So always remember why you came here. And if you accomplish what you come to Toastmasters for, you stick around. It's those moments where we create this, usually when people, if you look at those answers, a lot of times we will get people walking in through the door in this moment of overwhelm. And they're, oh my God, I don't know where to go, what to do. I don't do. And a lot of us are leaders in business. A lot of us are leaders in our clubs. And we will have people come in to us overwhelmed. And they'll say, I don't know what to do. Sally, I don't know what to do. And Sally doesn't sit there and go, I don't know either, right? And what overwhelm is lack of hope. And hope is simply the next step. And if you show people the next step and it's very small, they'll take it and stay with you. So picture this scenario. A new person walks into your club. How are they shown the next step the second they open up the door? In some clubs I've seen, so I've been a bunch of clubs, the biggest, strongest person in the room is the sergeant at arms. Not necessarily the most social person as the sergeant of arms, but they greet the person. Sometimes it's, but they'll say, oh, hi. Oh, you're a guest? Oh, okay. I don't know where our VP of membership is, but here, fill this out. Is that welcoming? Not really. So what happened? They're afraid walking in the door. So what's the first thing that happens? They're afraid to talk. So the first thing we do is, without telling them that we're going to make them talk, we have them talk in front of our group. Right? So the second we introduce them to the group, they're scared to death and they hate Toastmasters. It's hard to get those people back. Here's a typical conversation at a Toastmaster meeting. So Dennis, tell us about yourself and tell us what you're here for, right? And Dennis will say this, well, at work, I have to give presentations, and I've heard about Toastmasters from I've never come in here and done it before. And, I just kind of, I'd like to be better at that. So yeah. And then what does the president say? Well, you're in the right spot. So suggestion: to retain more members, to bring more people in, have them feel welcome and come again. President pulls aside the guest. We are going to ask you some questions, because humor is based on surprise. So is anger and fear. And it's just the meaning behind the surprise. So take the surprise out of that first public speaking. You relax the person. We're going to have you say something, if that's okay, who you are, and why'd you come in here? And so then when they come in there, hey, Ray, great name, Ray, by the way, I got to say. Ray, why Toastmasters? Why now? And the answer you get changes dramatically, because we've done this in our club. And the answer goes from, well, I've been thinking about this. I heard about Toastmasters, blah, 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 blah. I do this, and maybe I'll be better at this. And the boss says I should do this, blah, blah, blah. The first time we did it, the woman said, this is something I've always wanted to do. And why now? Because I have a presentation in August that I'm preparing for. So now we know exactly where they are. Now, here's the key. No more, well, you're in the right spot. You need to know your members, and you need to know their strengths. So I think it was, Sally, you said you came here with fear. Was that, you can just nod, okay. And so Sally is now the grand poobah of District 57, and she was scared to death walking through the door. So if she's in my club and I know her, and somebody tells me that their fear is their number one reason there, oh, before you leave here tonight, you need to talk to Sally, because she had the same problem that you did 4 years ago. Whatever it is. If they want to do a work presentation, who in your club coaches people on work presentations? We've got 2 or 3 that do it professionally in our club. So we'll give them the next step to take. When you show somebody the next step, they believe in you more, and you've created this acceptance, the feeling of friendship, the feeling of familiarity. These are key things when you're winning over strangers that are afraid to go out in public. We have a ton of introverts. I'm an introvert, even though nobody really knows that. I'm an introvert, but we have a ton of people walking into the doors. We have a ton of very logical people walking into the doors because they have a hard time with social interaction a lot, and they're trying to figure out a different way to do it. So make it easy for them, make it welcoming. I'm going to give you a few tips on how to create what I call, it's the feeling of friendship faster. When you meet a stranger and a stranger comes up to you, and let's say they ask, can I ask you a question? What goes through your, put what goes through your mind in the chat. Can I ask you a question? I know Dennis is saying, well, you just did. Okay, right there. Sure. Okay. And then usually it's accompanied with this move. Okay. When somebody asks you a question or makes inane small talk, good morning, how are you today? When you say that to me, I know you don't know me very well, because friends do not talk like that to one another. And if you create this familiarity of friendship up in front, you can get a lot done with that. How can I help you? That is, I used to be a retail sales manager. After I left stand-up, I did that. And I forbid people in my store to say, can I help you? Because what's the answer you get from that? Can I help you? Oh, no, I'm just looking. 2 seconds later, where is that bastard? I've got something to ask him, right? So I made them make a statement. So here's the key thing. When you meet a stranger, do not ask a question, make a statement. That's what your friends do. Don't ask questions, make statements. You create, that's what your friends do, so you create this feeling of friendship right away. I used to walk up people and say, I'll let you buy that. And every time I said that, here's what they do. Well, I bet you would, but while you're here, let me ask you this. And what did I just do? I created a conversation. Now, that immediate pullback, you're protecting your throat. That's the most vulnerable area of your body. Subconsciously, when we get creeped out by people, you pull away. What happens when you laugh? You throw your head back. Laughter is instant acceptance and trust. And you don't even have to be funny to get it. You can let other things do it for you. Right? So this asking, instead of welcome, how are you today? That immediately throws a wall up in front of me. Comment on something that they have, like, okay, look at Jeffrey, he's got a suit on today. It's like, looking good. And that's how I'd say, looking good, Jeffrey. And he would say, feeling good, Ray, if he'd seen that movie, right? And now we have this conversation that we don't know each other, but we're talking to each other as if we've known each other for years. And these are the little things that you can do to make it totally comfortable for your guests to walk in the door. Greet them as if they're friends. Then show them the next step they can take within that meeting. That's how they move forward along the path that we take them. A couple things I'm going to tell, I'm prepared to be disagreed with, okay? We have the systems in place to do things, but look at the screen here. I don't see a lot of 20-somethings and 30-somethings on the screen. To survive, Toastmasters must get younger. And one of the things that I've never heard or said outside of a Toastmaster meeting, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. Now, I know some people are very traditional and they like to hear that all the time, but one of the reasons why younger generations will not join Toastmasters is the perception of the rules. We give them too many rules. Need to dial those back a little bit. If this is a presentation about stuff that I know, but it's not scripted out for half an hour, my ahs and ums are going to be right up there with Barack Obama. But how effective a speaker is he? So we're focusing on the wrong things that we can count instead of the effectiveness of the communication. And these are things that make people feel more welcome. We have a set of program things that we can do that has all the information in the world. The Pathways program, it's there. But people need to understand it. So one of the things I would do is I would go through and look at each path, and I would tell people what kind of speeches you could make based on those paths. Use it as a tool, not throw people out there and say, go learn. Take a little bit of time and map things out a little further. Give them that next small step instead of go here. And actually, Ed Cullen gave me a great idea the other day. Look at the end of the path. And if you don't like what they're having you do, you probably don't need that path. Which I'd never heard before. That's what I'm passing on to you, because I heard Ed say it and I liked it. So create fun, create welcoming. If people are throwing their heads back in laughter in the meeting, that means they're probably going to come back. People like to enjoy themselves. Now, not every club is going to have a barrel full of laughs, but there are specific clubs just for specific things. So you can have that in there. I'm saying that in a meeting of adults that have to sit through for a couple of hours of things, at some point, if they don't laugh, they're not coming back. And if you look at it, the height of laughter creates the height of learning. So if you're using your communication to educate, your biggest laugh should be right before your biggest point of wisdom. Because laughter is like an Etch-a-Sketch. Laughter is like shaking an Etch-a-Sketch. It creates a moment of learning that is 10 times better than the one right before it. If you want to be memorable, here, this is a London Business School study. If I talk to you for an hour, you remember 3% of it. If I put up a PowerPoint behind me, it goes up to 10 to 15. If I tell you a story, you remember half of what I say. And if the story's funny, it goes up to 70%. So that's the power of story. It's also the power of humor. 20% advantage. 20% extra. I'm not a math guy, so I don't know exactly what that would be. 20% of 50% of 10% of, I can't watch Hollywood squares. Circle gets the square, X gets the square. It's too much geometry. Okay. So make sure that you are welcoming the meetings. Let's create some more fun meetings. A reverse meeting was mentioned earlier today. We did it once. It was fantastic. It is how do I say this politely, a crap ton of work to do that. And the Toastmaster it's a ridiculous spin out. So instead of doing that and not having to do the whole thing, do a reverse speech where the evaluator goes first. A half and a hoot. Okay. Have the evaluator come out and say, man, when you came out there and started singing that song about the birds, that was phenomenal. And then the little dance you did in the middle was really amazing. And when you wrapped it all up and you did the splits, well, don't do that because then there's some liability issues with that. But you get the idea. Have some fun with these things. One of the best, I said this at one of these club officer trainings, and the one person reached out to me was in our club and said, oh, I want to do the Shark Tank thing. Because I've done the Shark Tank for corporations. I've done Shark Tank, and you take people, you put them in groups, and they come up with a business name, a phrase that pays, and a jingle. And they go up and they present this to the rest of the group. And then the other groups that aren't presenting are the sharks. And they get to pick apart all the ideas. It is so much fun. Even this guy who did it gave us so many rules that I was like, geez, this is like defeating the purpose. But it was great even with that. So there are tons of great meeting ideas that you can do. That's one of them. I would tell you to ease the open house. When you hear open house, what do you think of? Anybody? Leesa.
So I always think of having a featured speaker.
Mm-hmm.
And someone from outside the club that has something interesting to share that's either along the theme or along the specialty of the group. And then inviting a lot of people to appreciate our club, but also the speaker that we've invited.
The other thing that I thought of when I forget who was talking about today is when you talk about the gifts and things like that, invite speakers that have things to give away. So, for example, I used to have a CD I still have 100 of them, but I would give those away to anybody that joined that day. If I speak at an open house and you're going to sign people up that day, I will say, anybody who signs up with this club today, I will give a half-hour speech makeover to. So you bring people in that have something to give away. Authors love to give books away, and anybody with a book, it's a perceived expert. You need to speak not in the language of Toastmasters, but in the language of the customer coming through the door. And what I mean by that I saw, I forget which club it was, but there was a big ad for it. We're having a thing. We're going to talk about impromptu speaking. I have never used that phrase outside of Toastmasters in my life. And I guarantee there's not a lot of people sitting, you know, I could watch the game on Saturday, or I could worry about my impromptu speaking. Now, if they want to speak off the cuff, if they want to take these things and go forward with them, that's great. I want to be better in meetings when people ask me questions. That's impromptu speaking, but use the words that they have, not the words that we've created. That's basic marketing. And whether you like it or not, when you take an executive position, you're running a company that you're not getting paid to run. If you're a club president, it's your company, you're not paid to run it, you get all the headaches, none of the pay, you get to see your children grow. There's the advantage of that. But just realize that, move forward, move on. Speak in the language of the customer, not in the language of the company. And that will open up so many doors. Do your knees shake when you think about speaking? Do your hands sweat? Yeah. Well, here's one thing I would suggest all club presidents do and all executives do. Find great Toastmasters and ask them what they've gotten out of Toastmasters. Why they came, what have they gotten? Then when you present your club, present that information to the new people in their language. I did that with my clients, and two of the things that they said to me are things that I use every day in marketing now. I asked a customer, what do I do for you? Oh, everything I bring you, you clarify, simplify, and amplify it. Well, that was way better than what I was saying about myself. So and it applies to everything. Clarify. If you look at it in a speech or in a social media post, what do you want the person reading it to do, think, or feel after they're done reading it? You have to say that in as few words as possible, or else they won't understand it. Simplify. Take out all the fluff words that people say to be nice. When you talk to somebody and you disagree, Dennis and I would never have a disagreement over anything. And when you talk about something you disagree, what you'll do is, a polite way of saying it is, well, I think what you just said, well, hey, stupid, my idea is so much better than yours. Take those out and people will enjoy speaking to you more. It's this sharing of things. Take a stance. People like places that take a stance. If we are too, and Dennis is big on the book. The only reason I know this book is because Dennis talks about it, is Radical Candor. That's the one, right? And one of the best benefits of Toastmasters, it's a safe place to fail. And you don't ever want to change that. It's the greatest place in the world to fail, but it goes too far sometimes. And like if I said, hey, Sally, I love the way you breathe. It's so consistent, in, out, in, out, in, out. It's never in, out, in, out. I love how you breathe. The speech was horrible, but other than that, you look fantastic today. So there's got to be a little bit more balance in there. And I like to ask people, is it okay if I treat you as a person, not a Toastmaster? Or I'll say, can I teach you like a fee-based client instead of as a Toastmaster? But taking people through, and I think what's happened, we've lost 5 years of people skills. And so we overcompensate by being so polite. And, you can say that things have gotten harder to do, but your confidence is a big part of what you can get away with saying. And make it so you communicate with people. We've kind of dropped the ball, I think, on bringing people in and mentoring them. Some places are better than others, but it used to be as soon as somebody came in, there was somebody kind of attached to your shoulder that kind of guided you through there. Lance Armstrong, what's his name? Past world champion?
Lance Miller.
Yeah, Lance Armstrong. That's not, I thought Moon when I said Lance Armstrong, but that's not the guy either. That's Neil Armstrong. That's the biker guy with the steroids. get to 4 speeches and people stick around. Lance Miller, get to 4 speeches, people stick around. What doesn't work is when we let them do their icebreaker 6 months in, because then they're gone by then. They've disappeared. So start them right away. I think what we should do is I think, look at that. I broke my own rule. Take the new people, pair them together. Pair them with somebody old, pair them with somebody new, so they can go through this journey together. Because a team goes farther than one person individual. These are just ideas. Don't call it a showcase, because when I think of showcase, I think of open house with cookies, and you're trying to sell me a house. I would use showcase instead of open house. That's what I meant. I think I tossed those together. My brain is working too quickly today, but not in the right direction. So make meetings fun. Have that. I wrote down a bunch of ideas. New member showcase, a hobby or a talent show. Let people show off their weird things. A weird hobby or talent night. Family night. Bring in kids. Let the kids take the stage. That would be fantastic. Family showcase. Another idea is a progressive storytelling night. You start with one story and you go through the whole meeting building on that story. And people can have cards that they do where, time for conflict, cliche or not, truth or lie. Any kind of game show is good. To build a bond with a club, you've got to meet outside the club. We go every night after our meeting down to Applebee's. We also once a month have something where we call it Percolate at Pete's, where we go and discuss whatever at Pete's on a Sunday or a Saturday. You're going to have different people do things, but these things create the bond. We have parties outside of Toastmasters that people come to. Guests have come to these things, and that's a great way. They get to see you outside of the officialness of Toastmasters. Anything done with a smile and enthusiasm. Here is an alumni day. You guys were talking to old members. Have an alumni day. We did that. We had like 10 people come back. 2 of them came back. So these things work. I did this thing that was designed for business, but it popped in my head when you guys were talking earlier, and I think this would be fantastic to send out to old alumni. One of the things that if you are here's a little solopreneur or entrepreneur trick. We look so hard for business at strangers that we forget the people that are right in our own lap. And if you call out to your old customers, they already know, like, and trust you, so you don't have to worry about building that trust. It's easier to get them to work with you than it is to get a complete stranger. And what I did in December, which is traditionally a slow business month, I put together some people. My goal was to make $10,000 for each of them by doing simple little things that we've forgotten to do. And the number one thing we did, 23 people made 350,000 extra bucks because of the stuff that we did. But here's the one that made the biggest difference, and I think it would work here too. If you just sent out a simple 7-word email to all your old members, and it just says, Leesa, it's been too long, let's catch up. Ray. The rate of return on that email is phenomenal. It re-energizes people and it starts a conversation. And what you're doing, don't send it with logos, don't send it, and I would even send that from my personal email instead of the official, at DTM XYZ, DTM times 12. Just send it from Ray. Now, there is pushback against AI, so it does pay off if you put your picture in an email now. It's perceived as a more friendly email than it is without. But there's so many things, or so many links, this, that, and the other thing. I also send out an email with the subject line, saw your doppelganger today. And everybody, whoa, okay, they'll open that. And then I add 3 words to it. You looked great. It's been too long. Let's catch up. So, realize that the language that you use is what attracts people. They will come toward what they know are their problems. You have to know, if you can explain their problem to them better than they can explain it to you, then they trust that you can solve their problems. And people flock to that. Questions about any of this? I just ranted for half an hour, I think.
How about Greg's question? How do you do outside gatherings if you got a lot of Zoom people?
That is a problem with that. But what I would do a happy hour. So it's on Zoom. But I know, and Greg is in like every meeting I go to on that. He's like a member of every club. So it's like, you can't go anywhere outside of Toastmasters because you're always in it. But I would do a specific non-thing. Dennis did something that he did every Saturday for a long time. Was it Do You Know Jack? Or
oh, you don't know Jack.
You don't know Jack.
If anybody is interested in playing Jackbox games, just send me a DM and we will play at 4 till 6 o'clock today. Yes, continue, Ray.
Yeah, no, and that's fun. And there were Toastmasters from other clubs and that thing, and it's a completely different scenario. It's like, you're in your house, but you can have a conversation in the kitchen or the living room. Those are two different conversations. What are Jackbox games?
Send me a DM. I'll tell you all about it. And Ray, while I have the floor,
yeah,
I have a question for you. I'm
sure.
typing frantically, trying to capture all your wisdom. You talked about clarify, simplify, and amplify. And I don't mean to embarrass you, but you didn't actually come back to amplify and give an example for that.
Okay, so clarify is in 10 words or less, what do you want the audience to do, think, or feel when you're done with the communication? This works for every communication, not just speeches, but it does work for speeches. Simplify. I call this turn 8 into 3. Take the 8 words you're about to tell me and give it to me in 3. Take out the fluffy words. Take out the things that are wishy-washy. Amplify. Any communication you have, if you want it to almost double or triple in its power, take the most important word in every sentence, put it at the end. Because people remember your last word. According to Patricia Fripp, your last word lingers. Greg.
Yes, if I can add, I think that when we talk about the health of our clubs or trying to help rebuild clubs that are challenged, that we have to change the idea of where the status is to an expectation of excellence, one of our core values. The clubs I belong to, and I watch them, we expect to be distinguished, at least distinguished, if not all the way to the top every year. That's an expectation. The leaders of that club or the folks that are the members of that club need to provide that understanding and that expectation to the new members so they catch on and see that. For example, many clubs, some of the clubs I belong to, we expect to be distinguished by December 31st. Going into the second half of the year, that means if your club changes officers every 6 months or the same ones continue depending, the second part of that year is easier to say we are distinguished. Now, why not go all the way? And you're setting expectations. Not only is it helping the member grow by achieving, they see that achievement, it's helping the area, it's helping the division. And sometimes we think about the district if we really care about the district. No, I'm just teasing. But all these goals are being met. The next thing is the expectation of bringing in new members. District 12 puts on the PR thing of interviewing people. Why did you join Toastmasters? And they have a lot of the prominent names of Toast members there to do that. I've challenged them. It says, change the question to what did you get out of Toastmasters? Not why, but what did you get out of Toastmasters? The story reaches out farther when you're talking to people of what I got out of it, and maybe that's what they need too. And of course, my old, I sound like a broken record and I apologize. You too can do. I ask my members, ask at least 2 people between each meeting to come as guests. If you even have half your members doing that, and you invite, let's say you have a club of 20 and you have 10 members that are doing that, that means there's 20 invites. Let's say 4 show up or 5 show up and 3 join. You know, you are following up because you're going to lose members. You need to keep the membership up. So you too can do. And the other thing is that not only do you have to look at the new members on the Club Central, just to the right of the membership management, there is a interest thing. People are, I forget the name of it, but you turn on there, it shows people who are looking for your club.
Prospective members.
Thank you. So prospective members, you look in there. I find, okay, there's a name and an email, but if you click on the name, it has a phone number. I immediately call that phone number. I talk to them. I said, you're interested about Toastmasters. How can I assist you? What would you like to know? And what clubs? Because that perspective sent out to your club is not just to your club. It's sent out to clubs in your area. So if you want to be greedy in building your membership, you need to attack that right now before the next club does. Get that person invited, explain, and so you start building your membership. A lot of the clubs, I've started well over a dozen new clubs. A lot of leads I've got is simply this. As a new member, could your workplace or employment need a club? Well, I never thought of that. Yeah, that's a good idea. I said, would you like to be the hero in starting that club and with the support of our experienced Toastmasters go in there and work with you? So what is that? A win-win of saying, here's a chance for you to shine in your job, showing that you brought something there that could lead to promotions or to other assignments that'd be worthwhile to you. And in the sense you're giving the gift to your club, to your employment of that gift of Toastmasters, what it can do for your deal. And I'll shut up. That's my.
Let me just expand on what Greg was saying there. One of the things that is so important as a leader of a club or a leader in a district is to know your resources. And there's probably not a problem that Greg hasn't faced as a Toastmaster. So, and it's, do you think he doesn't like talking about it? It's like, use that resource, ask him questions. I'm sure he would answer. And know what the people in your club are. Now, like, I didn't even know about that thing with the what's it? It's asking me about Toastmasters. But know who has the knowledge that you need and seek and use, and leverage that with these things. Now, if you go and you do something, going back to something that I said earlier, if you use that phone number, you pick up the phone and you call, start with a statement, not a question. Do not say, is this Dennis Dawson? Here, I used to sit at dinner and my dad would pick up the phone during dinner and you go, hello? Yes. Fine. So I knew exactly what was going on the other end. I once closed a deal with FEMA by talking about chocolate right off the bat in the phone. Because a guy bet me I couldn't meet somebody over the phone without using their name. And so I picked up the phone, I dialed somebody at FEMA, and she said, hi, this is Wanda Jackson. I'll never forget the name. This is Wanda Jackson. Oh my God, my office smells like chocolate. We just had a chocolate potluck. It's wonderful. And I shut up. And it was awkwardly silent for a moment. And she said, tell me more. And we literally talked about chocolate for 10 minutes. And then she goes, by the way, who is this? Why did you call? But that's 10 minutes into it. We are already friends. And I sent her our company information. I put 2 little tiny chocolate bars in it. Of course I did, right? That's how you create friends. You have this thing. So think about ahead of time, because we'll just pick up the phone and call. And then we creep out because I don't want to talk to strangers. It's uncomfortable. Well, how would you say it if it was you were talking to a friend? And then it's not uncomfortable. It's fun. It's fun. Leesa.
Thank you. I just wanted to share that one of the things that we've done in our club that has been very successful is on our charter date, having a charter birthday. And we actually have a banner with a cake of candles that have the number. We blow it out at the beginning. And we've done club trivia. So we've invited past members to come to be part of the birthday. We recognize them in part of our club trivia. How many DTMs are in the club and who can name them? Who got the last award? Who is our newest member? And then we also have had, like when people get married or have babies, a registry. We have a birthday wish registry. And we ask people to be Toastmasters and who's going to bring a guest and who's willing to be a club officer and who's willing to be on this open house team. And we actually have forms for people to fill out. And then we posted them in our meeting thing. Here's what people said they were going to give. And then when they actually did deliver, we'd highlight that. Thank you for this. This person has fulfilled this gift, and it has been very successful and fun for people.
Now, that's so awesome. One of the things about that I want to point out, so this thing about asking a question versus making a statement. Ex-Toastmaster member, Sienna Renee, her daughter is 22 and her friend, and Sienna told them what I do. And they both came up to me. They're 22. Who isn't gorgeous at 22? They're stunning. They're stunning people. And they said to me, we have problems meeting people. Do you have any suggestions? Well, that's like opening the floodgate to me, but yeah, I do. And I showed them the question versus statement thing. Then I went over to a table of people that I'd never met before, and I did it and had instant friends with them. Then I made them do it. And the look on their face was like they had seen fire for the first time. And I bring that phrase up because we just had our area contest, and Renee and Ray were the directors that put it on. There's like 60 people in this room, and they're having a good time. They're laughing, they're talking, they're watching those things. And Sally was there, and she came up at the end, and she was very emotional about what it did. And that was the same look. It was like Sally saw fire for the first time with this group that was there, and it was so energetic, and people were into it, and they were into all these things. And there was even like the most dreaded thing in the world at Toastmasters. Someone didn't know what to say and stopped. But everybody's like, it was like you could hear the heartbeat of the room, like giving this woman a hug. You know, it's like, oh, they're there, we got you. So this stuff works, and over time, your enthusiasm is what sells Toastmasters. You can't tell that Greg's enthusiastic about it at all. Ever. Like, he talks about the mental vitamin, right? That's the thing. See, I remember things that he said too. This stuff works. Your enthusiasm pays off. You guys are amazing. Just show your amazingness. Spread it around. Spread the joy. Don't worry about who ummed and who awed. I would change the ah counter into a ha counter, and I would recoup the funniest moments of the meeting. That people would get more fun and value out to me than the ah counter. I know if I give a speech and I'm prepared for it, I don't do them. All right, that's my last little dig at things, but thank you.
Thank you. All right, this is going to be rough. Linda, are you up for talking about contest best practices since you don't have this problem I have?
No.
Okay. Then we'll listen to me reverberate.
Is Hans still here?
Can I help you on that one, Dolly?
Yeah, or Hans?
Hans, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
He can talk
So
about
I was wondering if you could spend a few minutes talking to us about contest best practices, using the script, making sure that everybody's qualified, just all the stuff that you've gone over for how to run an excellent club I mean, not a club, but a contest?
Yeah, well, we've heard, during this meeting, several issues have come up that could be easily addressed. I think the rules around contests are so complicated that they need to be taken in stages. For example, when you're evaluating the eligibility of both contestants and officials, that's one phase of the rules. If you just dedicated a couple minutes to looking at those rules and ignore everything else about the rule book, that way you could memorize and prevent issues from taking place. Because I know the rule book is very long, it's probably 20 pages, but if you just attack it in pieces, that would greatly help. Some of the issues that we've heard about are identical to issues in the past. When you join forces with 2 or more areas or 2 or more divisions, in fact, I believe Division A and D will be joining into one contest. It can have potential to create confusion, but we have developed scripts and agendas for that exact type of contest so that you know exactly what sequence each part of the contest. For example, should there be 2 interview sessions or just 1? Should there be 2 breakout rooms or just 1? All of those issues have been addressed because we created the agenda to deal with that. And, obviously, what I'd like anyone to do in the chat, if they've heard of special issues that have come up, please contribute and add those to the text. And we can obviously address those. But, this is our first year back. We've had 4 years of not meeting in person. That's a huge change because you have to print out all the paperwork. All your officials need to be in person. So that's a huge change. And we really want to reach out to you and thank you for putting up with all those changes. And it's a huge effort to get people to sign up and help and drive to your contest from a half hour or an hour away. So we just want to thank you for all that effort.
And if anyone has any specific questions, Hans is the perfect person to ask. So either fire it into the chat or do a raise hand.
This is Lisa. Oh, sorry. I don't have a question, but I did want to share some best practices as a person who I think of myself a little bit as a contest queen. Is the first one is prepare early. And that is, I would say, get your venue and get your resources in order first and long before the contest date, because as they happen, resources are scarce. Get the script, follow it, and give it to all the people that are going to be having their piece of it so that everyone is there. Have briefings for the contestants and your people well in advance so that when people come, all of that is done. Small extra tip, have your judges in person, your judges materials in a folder and ideally with clipboards unless you have tables for them so they have places to write and places to be as anonymous as possible. And better yet, if you can clip their little judges forms early.
Yeah, that's a great tip about judges paperwork. I would encourage you who are chief judges to make sure to have a briefing session amongst your team several days in advance so that you can go over the ballot and how to count the ballots correctly. We just heard about an hour ago, there were some issues with how to handle a tie. So it's been years since you've done that, maybe, since you were a ballot counter. just review the paperwork and the rule book. It'll tell you exactly how to do that. Does anyone else have anything else that came up recently that they have a question about or have been having difficulty with? Okay, I see a question here or comment from Ray saying that the judges and chief judge cannot be from a club with a contestant. And so, yes, what happens is, especially at the division level, you cannot, your judges cannot belong to a club that one of your contestants belongs to. And that's sometimes an issue because, why? Because some people belong to multiple clubs. So you really have to create a kind of like a spreadsheet listing all the clubs that people belong to. If you need help with that, reach out to your division director, because each division director has access to the complete member database, and they will know exactly which clubs everyone belongs to. Yes, Sally.
So, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I understood.
Just a minute, they're fixing things.
That I understood that as long as there was a judge from every club that had a contestant, or that there were a minimum of 5 judges overall, that worked. I got that from our regional advisor, so I don't know if they were misinformed or if there's something has changed.
That's strange because no.
That's only for area, excuse me. That's only for your area contests. That does not
thank you,
apply
Rose.
to division or international.
Given that we're on to division contests now, you have to, division directors need to check the club membership list to make sure none of their judges come from those clubs.
Okay.
And it must be
So what I said was true for area contests, and I'll be quiet. Thank you.
What's that? So for example, if you're in a club, your judges are going to come from within your club at a club contest. I mean, there's no way around that. But and at an area too, so yes, there's a couple other people who have raised their hands, including Greg.
Okay, real quick, it must be an equal amount of judges. In other words, if you have one judge for each contestant from a club, it has to be equal. For example, in the contest we just had for C1, C2, there was an equal amount of judges, one for each club that had a representative. There's also some outside judges. One of those I made the tie-breaking judge as a neutral, ensuring there was a neutral, so nobody had more than one judge.
And that's true at the area level, Greg. That's true.
That's right. That's what I said, at the area level. C1. Also, when we present the awards at different levels, I think this is an opportunity to improve the future of leadership. The area directors, when they are presenting the awards, however they want to do that, should have the division director there handing out or presenting the awards in a showcase of thank you and recognizing of that division director's work. The same for the division contest. They should ask a trio member to be there present to say, spotlight them for their hard work as we present the awards. Here is the club growth director or whatever presenting the awards, just like there. This puts the spotlight on future leader roles and encourages the audience members to understand, wow, as part of leadership, there's some fun parts of doing it by being present, being recognized for my hard work, and showing my service back to the member by being there to present the awards. This is good, healthy leadership journey ideas that continue the future of our leadership. The other thing is that Renee, I have to give her kudos as the area contest coordinator. She made sure that everybody had on this northbound train had a northbound ticket. There was communications between the contest toastmaster, the chief judge, the area directors, and the same information went out. So we all kept on a northbound train with northbound tickets, and nobody had a southbound ticket going off in some direction. So Renee, kudos to you for your hard work, your effort and commitment to make sure that you serve the members in this contest, and your growth in event planning just grew.
Excellent. Thank you for those kudos, Greg. Dennis, you have your hand up?
Yeah, quickly, I may have said this before to the area directors. One of the cheats that people try to do is say, hey, if you'll judge my contest, I'll judge yours. And what happened in years past, we had the same area directors judging contests all over the division. And that meant that only one set of opinions, one point of view would choose the winners. And those winners that they chose almost never won the district because they were very specific to the local division. So do try to get judges outside of your division, outside of the area, outside, and mix them up rather than getting the same group of people. It's easier to do it that way, but it means that your contestants are likely to lose.
Great, great. Sue, how about you? I see your hand up.
Yes, on the subject of one judge per club in an area contest, if you have a judge, somebody who wants to be a judge and they are in two clubs in the same area, I'm assuming they are representing both of those clubs. Is that right?
Well, are you referring to a division contest?
An area contest. So in an area contest, a person that wants to be a judge and is in two clubs in the same area, is he representing both clubs?
Well, sort of. If you really want to use that person as a judge, then I would really recommend that you've got to find judges from the other clubs in your area.
Well, yes, I understand that.
To balance them out.
I understand that.
So your question is whether that one person can actually represent both clubs.
Right. So
yeah,
so if there's 5 clubs in the area, he would be taking care of 2, and then you'd find 3 judges from each of the other 3 clubs, right?
Yeah, that's an interesting scenario. I have not thought of that before, but I think, the spirit of the rule is what counts. The spirit is to balance judging across your area. And in fact, that's why many areas find it easier to get all their judges from outside the area. That way they won't have to worry about balancing them. And the same goes for division contests. It's often easier to get all 7 of your judges from outside the division. That way you don't have to worry about balancing them. But I have not come across your particular issue before. I don't know what to say. I can submit a question to TMI to see what their opinion is. Just because that one person belongs to 2 clubs does not mean that they might favor one of those clubs, and there's nothing you won't know until it's too late that they have favoritism towards one of those 2 clubs. So I don't know.
Can I suggest
that I would recommend against it personally.
Well, thank you for that, Ray. Ray, listen to me, Hans. I appreciate it. My sound here is fixed, and we've used that time up. I think we need to move on. Actually, I wanted to take this opportunity before we go to our town hall. I see that our regional advisor, Rose Curlin, is here. Do you have any words for us today, Rose?
Good morning, everyone. It's so good to see everyone here or hear from you if your video is off. I am really pleased to hear that it's a vibrant meeting, especially thank you, Hans. I came in just at the time we were talking about contests. It's a challenge, I know, but we are fit for that challenge. We're Toastmasters, and we can handle everything that's given to us, and we know how to flex and we know how to adjust. So thank you so much, and keep up the good work. Your conference is coming in May. I'm excited for that as well. you're on your way to transitioning, help your predecessors, help whoever it is that gets elected and nominated in the transition, because it's very important that we share best practices and what works and what could maybe improve as we go along our journey. Thank you for keeping the focus that it's about the members, that we work together, whether we agree or disagree, that we agree that we can disagree, but we still work together for what really matters, and that is the members. Keeping the district mission in focus and working along that with your core values, there is nothing that will go astray. Your district mission aligned with acting and performing and doing your activities, roles, responsibilities in line with the core values of integrity, respect, service, and excellence, you will always be on the top and shine. So congratulations, District 57. I'm very pleased to be here today and witness all the excitement and momentum and enthusiasm that goes on with all of you. Thank you for being leaders and for stepping in to roles that I know can be challenging, but you're up for the challenge. Back to you, Ms. District Director.
Thank you so much, Rose. We really appreciate having you here today. We're now going to be moving into our town hall portion of the meeting. This is just a round robin, any questions that you might have about what's happening in the district or what's coming up. We will direct it to whoever you are asking that's hopefully here in the room. So are there questions or thoughts or, and we've got some people in the room here that are going to come up to the mic with a question. The first is Lindy.
Good morning, everybody.
Camera's there.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I have a lovely problem that I'm hoping everybody can relate to. Two of my clubs have an extraordinary amount of district bucks. One has 320, one has 350. And I keep asking my clubs what we should spend it on, and they keep coming up with minor things. And I want them to think of something that would actually use up $350 or $320 in one fell swoop and make a really big difference to the club. So I'm looking for ideas for items that we could get for the club that are around $300-ish. Anybody got some ideas for me? Good, Jeff does.
I can send you a list of the audiovisual equipment that we use for the district.
Great, that would be wonderful, thank you. And actually my club has a lot of audiovisual equipment, but maybe yours is better, so it'd be great to find out about that. Any other ideas? Hearing none, I'll pass to the next person then.
Okay, thank you, Lindy.
Please email me if you get ideas later.
It looks like Lisa has her hand up. Lisa?
Yeah, I saw that Lindy got up, but I was wondering if she could help other clubs out that don't have that kind of money, that have a need, like Cree Artists.
That's we don't.
Okay,
actually,
Lisa,
the district
Lisa,
bucks
stop,
is not
please.
transferable to other clubs.
Okay, thank you. I didn't know.
Okay.
I'm right
Lindy,
about that,
are you
right,
there?
Winnie?
Can I talk? Okay, Lindy, are you there? Okay.
Yeah, she's here.
One of the suggestions is like you can encourage the members to renew their membership and provide a small incentive, like purchase a mug for the members they pay before February 15 or something. And then that would be a membership incentive for the members. They pay the member dues early. Okay, if you have that kind of money, then every year my club did the same too. We said that, okay, if everybody, they renew their membership early, and then they can get a mug, or they can get a Toastmaster International gift certificate of $10, $15 to encourage them to renew the membership and have the club, going and get moving and get distinguished. And this kind of incentive is teamwork, to make this big accomplishment. And this is a big accomplishment, more than $300. And then why don't you give some of them back, to the members as the membership incentive if they renew their membership early?
Yeah, that's a great idea, Winnie, because another thought along that same line in terms of incentives, you might have a membership drive. And so maybe any member that brings 2 guests or any member that brings somebody that joins gets an incentive, such as, there are bookmarks, there are gift cards to TI,
Exactly.
there are a lot of different kinds of gifts, Toastmasters related, that you can use that money for
Yeah,
as
as
well.
long as we are in compliance with the nonprofit organization.
That's right.
No more than $25 a year. No more than $25 a year per member.
Person, right? Per member, yeah. So up to $25 per year per member can be given back in incentives for things that are helping your club.
What about getting stuff for open houses, like giveaways and things like that?
Yeah, giveaways for open houses.
Can we do that?
I think that's okay, as long as it's not a gift certificate.
What about, I don't know what those things are called, those pop-up banners that you hook on top and back that you could have outside, so that people passing by those clubs.
Oh, yeah, just a club banner,
That's a
right?
good idea.
Greg has his hand up, so I need to be respectful. Greg?
Thank you. Yeah. It's been a while since I've researched the policy, but for a club, I think the Treasury is limited at 2 times the amount of members of the dues. So, and when you look at so many members, you're not supposed to have your club treasury go beyond the twice the membership payment on there. And it's been a while since I've got the one club I belong to. Every 6 months recognizes members that win. If you do have competition in a club, if they achieve a winner in 6 months, 4 times table topics, 4 times evaluator, or 3 times the speaker, they recognize them with a trophy, and it's quite an honor.
So you use an incentive for signing up for roles and doing roles at the club meetings. That's a great idea.
So it's just a thought that, and it's a tough battle in this club. I joined the Riverside Breakfast Club in 1987, 38 years ago. And they've had that ever since. And it is something, if you have a competitive spirit or something, but if you get one of those trophies, it's tough because you've got a lot of, it is tough in 6 months.
Yeah.
It's a challenge.
That's a good idea. Narendra?
I mentioned that something about the district block, how they can use it 2 times at the DECM meeting. I appear that there's still question on it. And then I think we're going to put it on the weekly digest, for the people, so they can use it. It's no transferable, okay? None of the expenses, none of this kind of district fund or anything, not transfer, no transfer at all, okay? I just keep this in mind, like area contest, whatever. I don't want to have this kind of term, to show up again. Thank you.
I don't think any of these suggestions were for transferring to other clubs or anything. Yeah, thank you. Narendra, you have your hand up.
Thank you, by the way.
Yes, so just I have one suggestion that we can use this district bucks against the room rent, right? The location if we are meeting in person.
Yeah, you can use it to rent a place. I think I listed out on the listing of the how you use the district bucks.
I'm not sure.
Okay, so the district bucks can be used to pay fees for your club meeting room. Is that correct? Yes. Okay. If it can be used for some kind of a membership drive situation. I don't know that you can't spend it for a club party, can you, or can you?
Only for the membership incentive, okay? Not at this point. I think we have to discuss it again. If you think that this would be something new, so we need to discuss and get the approval, okay?
Okay, we'll talk about it. Anyway, Lindy says thank you very much for all those great ideas. I'll let you be last, Dennis, because we need to move on to the next thing in the meeting.
I was just going to say, you can only spend money on refreshments during a Toastmasters meeting. You can't have it outside of a Toastmasters meeting. Have to have 50% approval of the members in order to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, need to get
That
some
sounds
approval.
familiar. Yeah. Okay, we are rounding out. Okay.
Wanna come up for that?
Thank you, Dennis.
Okay, we have another question coming up. Sure, Mike.
I was at the division, I'm Ron Fitch, BPE for the Alameda Tongue Twisters. I was at the Division B meeting on Thursday, and they suggested that I raise my question here. As BPE, one of my jobs is to help people through pathways. What was reported to me a few weeks ago by a member is that when he went to his pathways path, everything was already checked off, meaning it's complete. And that to me seems weird. That looks to me like a software bug. It only occurred after the database work was done that kept us off for a while. So in my opinion, we have a problem. I did the same thing. I added a path 2 years ago. Last week, I decided to start working with it. Everything is already checked off. And somebody said, well, your president or secretary would actually have to approve it. And I said, yeah, well, I can buy my president or secretary a beer and they'll sign off on it. So that's not the answer. The real answer is, how do we prevent that that stuff being checked in the beginning? What do we do so that doesn't happen?
Yeah, I've had that problem as well, and that is a phone call to Toastmasters International to ask them what's going on.
And who do I contact? I've never made a phone call before. I don't know how to do that.
We have a pathways chair for the district, is Gemma Reeser, and she's probably the first person that I would check in with to find out how to go about.
And how do I find her?
I'll give you her. I don't have it in my head, but I'll give you
but that would be great.
contact
Yes.
information.
So what's important for me to?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
What's important for me is to know that I'm not alone on this.
You're not.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
You know, Sally.
Was this a legacy path that they went and checked? Well, it shouldn't have been checked off anyway.
Sally, this is an individual pathway educational issue. I did it myself. You know, like usually I call the hotline, and then they would fix it. You know, for my own. But I mean, this is almost like individual, not the entire district.
Right. I think it's more. You can call in and they'll fix it for you. But if it's more systemic, which is what it is, then it needs to be ratcheted up. And I think
if this is
we'll work with Gemma to figure out how to do that.
A lot of members, and then I think Gemma would have to step in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too, because she represents the district on pathways. Yep, I'll get it to you as soon as we move on. So I am really ready to adjourn the meeting and open up rooms for the various divisions to get together in. Do people here, not everybody has a laptop here in the room. We can gather as a group in the room if you want, or if you have your laptop, you can join your division.
I'll open all the rooms right now, if you're ready.
Okay, you got it.
Okay.
Rooms are open.
Those of you who are not sticking around for the Jersey breakouts, thank you.
Yeah, thank you all for being here. We look forward to seeing you for our April meeting. I look forward to getting emails from you volunteering to help with the area contest on Wednesday for those that are local. And I know Linda is looking for volunteers for the conference committee. All of those things are at the forefront right now.
And just a reminder, we are meeting Monday at 3 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock Eastern, and it will be on Zoom. And the Zoom link is in the announcement that went out to you today.
Yeah, and that announcement will be going out in about 2 hours.
Can you share the Zoom link on that meeting, Linda?
Yes, the Zoom link is in the document that you will be getting, and it should be live, and we'll see you on Monday.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, and you're on our list.
Okay, thank you.